Hey, another update. Let's have a look at what's happening with the doors on the Falcon and a bit of an update on other things that I'm working on. Let's go. Hello and welcome back to another Rob's Garage episode. Back on the Falcon again. If this is your first time visiting, I'm Rob, and this is my 1969 Australian Ford Falcon project. Go back and watch the videos, you can learn a bit more about that. But today we're going to look at the doors, which are missing. And this is after the fact, but I'm going to show you some footage of me working on the doors and what we found. As you know, I'm stripping the car back. I'm stripping the panels back to bare metal. And you'll see a bit more about that. All right, so I've got the passenger front door off. We're going to have a look at it with the paint on, pay a little bit more attention to what we see in the paint, and see if we can identify what's causing it once I've sanded it back. It might be interesting. Let's take a look at the door. All right, so I've got the door sanded, well, not sanded, I've got the door off here, ready to start sanding. You can see there's a few issues. I'm going to see if you can see that. So we do have some marks in the door here and here, which is underneath the paint. So we're going to have a look at this and see what is under here. You can see there's like a little ring around here. Some spots here. So is it rust? What is it causing that? It's going to be kind of interesting to see. It's also happening up the top here quite a bit. So that's going to be interesting. Alright, so I was contemplating whether I DA this whole panel back to bare metal, which does take some time, but it's also very messy. You end up with a lot of dust. And I've gone back to paint stripper, which is quite strong, so you do want to wear some kind of a mask to protect yourself from the fumes. Let's have a little look at how that looks. So I've done the whole door, and you can see it's starting to peel here. I generally probably don't wait long enough, so I'm gonna try to resist starting to scrape this early. I've done where the stripe was, so that's peeling that off. I've tried to do a bit thinner on this side just to see what that looks like. A bit's fallen on the floor there, so I better clean that up. But you can see, I feel like where some of those bubbles were, they've kind of peeled up first, and even some of those lines. But anyway, it's actually looking pretty good. Normally it gets pretty slimy, but I really want it to bubble up like this. Anyway, I'll keep it going and see how it's going to look when it's finished. Alright, so we've got the door sanded. I've pretty much just hit the bottom bit with the DA up, but it's mostly pretty clean. I think it's pretty clear to me where these rust spots are underneath the paint is where it was bubbling up. Same over here. This is kind of what we were seeing. Essentially it was rusting underneath the surface. So important to get your surface finish right before you put any paint or anything on it. But yeah, overall the door is actually in not bad condition. A few weird marks and stuff on it, but we'll give it a good clean up and get it back to nice shiny steel. Guard's all done. I've treated it with a Rusco stage 2, which is like more of a medium rust treatment because I wanted to clean off that panel really well. I'm pretty happy with how that came out. Doing the paint stripper, being a bit more patient with it, letting it bubble up, which I think I've been a little bit impatient in the past. Panel actually come up really clean. This door's not too bad compared to some of the other panels. I think it's probably something we can still use. There is a repair on the back corner that needs to be done on the bottom left corner. Pretty typical. There's some weird marks on this panel, so I'm not really sure what they are, but the only other thing I want to do is treat it with some Easy Phos, which is a phosphate coating, which I think the Rusco also does, but this is a bit more of a longer term treatment, so I can keep it bare metal for longer. And yeah, we'll go from there. All right, so we're making some progress sanding back this door. This time I have done paint stripper, or I've done it with a strip disc. And now I actually thought I would buy this Black Ridge, which is from Super Cheap Auto, which is a DA. 6-inch sanding pad, 60 grit. And I like the way it finishes. It doesn't get the panel hot, which is nice, but it is quite slow. Then again, paint stripper is kind of slow when you have a lot of paints, and you know, it's just slow. Maybe I need a bigger grip, but I like the finish of it. That's just a very slow process, and it does work the compressor pretty hard. So for those who don't know, I have a Chicago air compressor. This is the Hush 150, which is the biggest one. There's the 4 engines. Should do 410 litres a minute, I think it is. That's what you call it. I'm running at 90 psi, which this needs, but yeah, it's on a lot. It does keep up with it, but yeah, I mean, it's actually works quite a lot with tools like these rotary type tools. It's pretty good for painting. The one time I painted the guard, but yeah, otherwise slow process, but I'll keep going, keep persevering. Okay, so I've got most of this back to bare metal. I just have to take this bit off. I didn't want to do that yet because of the contour of it. So, but this top section is actually pretty nice. I don't really have a problem with this. It's when we get to this lower section, we have this, which is fine. I saw that there, but it's pretty kind of beaten up through this panel here. There's a low spot there. You can kind of see where the sander's been. You can see there's that low spot in the middle there. It's kind of got little low spots all along here. And a bit of damage here. This is actually quite a dent just there. You can kind of see where the sander's gone around some high spots there. There's also a line through here. Looks like someone's hit something. And I always knew that this bottom bit's going to be replaced. So I'm considering getting a half door skin. I think that's about $180, or a full door skin is like $345. All right, so I do want to start looking at fixing this dog leg. This is obviously not right, and it's a bit dinged up. So the worst part is up here. I'm going to have to get a rust repair section for this top bit, which would be custom made by a crew I think they're in Sydney. I'll let you know once that shows up. I'll probably order that pretty soon. We want to work on this dog leg section. And I have this, I think this is a Rare Spares one. It wasn't from Rare Spares, but I've got a feeling they're all from Rare Spares. But I'll let you know. I'll put a link in the description where I got it from. And it doesn't look too bad. It does sit in this section here. And some of this line here isn't quite right. As you can see, this line isn't exactly right. I mean, it's not sitting in there perfectly, but I'm just going to cut it down probably before this bend, because mine's actually all right here. So I pretty much just want from the curve out. And if I look at this, what's kind of there, I think it kind of looks about right from what I can tell. It does have a tab on the inside here, so I'll have to obviously cut down here to make it fit, but you can see there's quite a bit of damage in here. I really just want to take out what I need and the rest can stay. So I'd say I'm just going to take out this whole edge. This is a pretty tight corner. And looking at this, not quite as tight, I don't think, but yeah, I'll give it a go and see how she looks. One of the other things today I need to do is remove this stainless steel trim off the door, the gutter. So what I'm actually using is this, tapping on it with a hammer, just sticking it right under there. I've just got a bit of the edge off, slowly going under there, try not to damage this. So I'm just slowly peeling that off, and it's basically just coming off there all the way around. So we'll have the stainless trim removed, and we'll be good to go to the next phase. All right, let's keep cracking on. right, one of the things I'm trying not to do is damage this with the edge. This is coming across quite far here, so I can't get that kind of angle to hit this. So it is sort of starting to ding the outside here. I mean, it's not perfect. It's got some damage here from what looks like to be roof rackets at some point. So it's not a big deal because they do have to be repaired, but it's trying not to let this corner dig in too much and damage the outside here, which looks like I have done a little bit. So it's just something to be mindful of. All right, so there it is. It's all off. Now I can get in here and clean these gutters properly because they need a good clean. Overall, it doesn't look too bad. There's a bit of work to do inside the gutters here. Cleaning out this. We'll have a look at the trim. You can see when it comes off, it's actually quite twisted. So, but trying to get it all off in one piece. You can see there was a bit of damage on the outside. But pretty happy that's not kinked or anything. So, probably get this sent away at some point and get it repaired. All right, well that pretty much wraps it up for this episode. I'm going to keep working on a few things on the XW. I'm currently working on the 9-inch. This is a little bit after the video is wrapping up that I'm showing you now. So I'm doing a few other things. I'll have another video coming out soon. More to do with the 9-inch going in. I'll have a quick look at that. So you can actually see I've got the wheel sitting there. I've got the Calvert monoleaf, Calvert sliders. There's quite a bit of stuff on the ground here. So the 9-inch is sitting under there. I've got a bit of paint under there as well. We'll chat about that in another video. Here's the leaf spring. Here I've just pressed the bushings in here so you get an idea. So I'm working on a bracket to mount this to the chassis as well. So this is all ready to go back in. So stay tuned for that. If you want to see a bit more of that, like and subscribe. That'd be fantastic. Thanks for everyone who does stick around and watch the videos. That really helps. It helps the channel grow and helps me be more motivated as well, and also share what I'm doing. So let me know also what you want to see. But stay tuned. 9-inch diff install coming soon. And yeah, we'll keep on cracking on. Thanks everyone, and have a great day. See ya.